Welcome to the TCM community, and today is a special day. I'm here with Michael Furian, who is head of the research department at the SWISS TCM University. Welcome to our program.
Hello, yes, nice having me here.
Thank you for joining us. And you're the research director, so you run the research department at the SWISS TCM University. Could you tell a little bit about what the SWISS University is of TCM?
Yes, yeah, thank you, Dopey. The SWISS TCM University is a governmentally accredited university. It was accredited in 2022. Yeah, it follows the Bologna system, so it has a bachelor, master, and PhD courses, but all really tailored to TCM. And I run the research department since August 2022. And we promote research in the field of TCM.
Well, that's great. I mean, and you're not only you're a pure researcher, right? Because you also work at the hospital of.
Exactly, the Hospital of Zurich. Yes. So maybe quickly, my background is I think that's important. I have not a background in TCM. I studied human movement science and sports. But and then I worked during the last 10 years in human research in the hospital, University Hospital of Zurich, mainly pulmonology. And so I became a study organizer. And that's, I think, that qualification allowed me to join the TCM University. And to make sure that the quality assurance and that the quality of the research is well organized, that the studies are according to guidelines and really to support the research in TCM. So that's my background is a bit outside of TCM, but I think that's very important to combine research fields in TCM because it's necessary.
No, but definitely, even though it's outside of TCM, it's still important for a TCM university, especially because your emphasis is on research.
Yeah, and it needs a lot of knowledge because in Switzerland, the TCM is covered by the health insurance, which is absolutely amazing. And the research in TCM requires a lot of knowledge from so it's research methodology. TCM is the core component of the research projects, but then we need also physicians with Western medicine knowledge, and we combine these expertise in research projects.
TCM is covered by insurance in Switzerland. Is it 100% coverage? Is it acupuncture and herbal medicine? Could you tell us a little about that?
Yes, so it is acupuncture is covered also by the basic health insurance. It depends a bit. It depends a bit who applies the TCM therapy. So if there is a physician with TCM certification, then there are around 18 therapies are covered in acupuncture. If you have or you are a TCM therapist, if you don't have a medical background, then it's around approximately 12 therapies covered. So it depends a bit who is applying the TCM. Yes, and not everything in TCM is covered. For example, cupping or tuina, for example, is not covered. No.
And herbal medicine?
Herbal medicine is covered. Certain degree. Yeah. It's also I think it's like in other countries. It's not all the herbs are allowed. There is a list of herbs which are covered by the health insurance.
Yeah, every country has its own unique list, of course. Speaking of the curriculum of the university, so you have acupuncture. Is it the same as China, like acupuncture, herbal medicine, tuina, or?
Yes. So in the It is a combination in the let's say the bachelor course. The bachelor is 3 years, and it covers the TCM classics, but also parts of basic medicine, anatomy, physiology, and what is a bit different compared to the medicine course at other universities, the students are very early in the practices in the clinics. So they have a lot of exchange with the patients. They observe, they listen, and see how the TCM providers work with the patients. So they have a lot of practical courses, and the bachelor is currently it's in German, and you have to be present in Switzerland, and the master, for example, and the PhD is a bit more flexible. So in terms of language, in terms of where you are also.
Okay, so there's also like part is online or something.
Yes, there can be courses can be online, and also for example a PhD, doing a PhD. It's not mandatory that you are in Switzerland. We have several people doing a PhD, for example, still when they are working. So they have a project, it's running simultaneously, and they can still treat the patients because
because you have to, you're working.
You have to earn money
to pay for the PhD. But and it's not, so that's also the master and the PhD are not 100% German only.
No, it's actually it starts to get you can do it in English, the master, and the PhD, it depends on the topic and on the supervisor. So German, English, or Chinese, that's all possible really when you do transcriptions from Chinese to English or so then it's not necessary to speak German.
Okay.
And we focus on research in terms of publications, to produce publications, scientific articles, and they are written in English. So we try to really prioritize English or Chinese.
Yeah, or Chinese. Do you have a lot of so you have students from China also, or?
Yes, part of the students are from China, especially in because the university is so young. We have, and in China the TCM is established, so students with a sufficient qualification can join the master program or the PhD program because they are qualified in terms of they have a bachelor certificate in TCM, and so it's much more difficult to join the master when you are from a European country. So yes, in terms of master students and PhD students, we have Chinese students, and the bachelor here we are more local European countries. Yeah.
But for someone that's from Switzerland who does the bachelor at the SWISS TCM UNI, there's no problem going on to the masters.
No, that's no problem at all. No,
it's like okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what about someone who has done a bachelor in, let's say, in the UK, who only speaks English? Is that a problem with the German language?
No, when this person would join the master program, that's okay to join. Exactly. So.
Okay, it sounds great. I mean, especially because it's quite unique. I have an art. You're the only one, or the in Europe that offers a master's and PhD.
Yes. So yes, it's the only university with bachelor, master, and PhD, as far as I know, and it's also it also what is also I think is unique that it's governmentally accredited. So it's an official university like other known universities, and I think that makes it special as well.
Yeah. Also, I think what makes it special, it is a pure European PhD program. It's a European university, Because I know that there were a couple of universities here in Europe, but they were dependent on Chinese universities.
Yes, exactly. That's an important point you mentioned. Yes, so that's something which which people outside are maybe not aware of, because when you get a certificate or a diploma at the Swiss TCM Uni, it does not mean that it's not a Chinese type certification or a Chinese diploma.
No.
So it's yes, it's from Europe. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something
it's a
which is
European,
important to
it's a
know. Yes.
Swiss
Yeah.
diploma, and
Yeah.
it's accredited by the Swiss government.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Okay. I imagine this has been quite a big step to get this properly legislated in Switzerland.
Yes, so that's the work from the director, Professor Yiming Li. He was working on that project for many years, because it's, as you mentioned, it's a complicated procedure. Actually,
Yeah.
it's even more complicated than I personally, for example, imagined, because you have to get students before you are in university, and you have to show that the procedure actually works. And that's very difficult. Also, research, you have to show research activity, although you are not a university. So that's really, that's a huge challenge.
It's a great accomplishment and a great step forward for Chinese medicine in general. Seeing how it can still, you can locally make it thrive, right? And get to that level.
Yes, and I personally, because I'm coming from the field of research, I think it's very important to have this kind of university activity and also the research activity at such a university, because at the end, it's an independent institution. It's not a TCM clinic where you depend on patients and income, but it's also not, although it's great research, it's not dependent on a university in Western medicine, because I think it's very important that many different players are doing research. But for example, a department in complementary medicine from another university, they have the job or the purpose to do research in the whole field of complementary medicine. And I think that's a great opportunity in our university, that we can really specialize and focus on TCM. So we can go into real depth of projects. We can have multiple projects in parallel, and gain a lot of knowledge and important findings in TCM.
So all these projects, are they like individually funded, or is there like a university fund that goes into how does this work?
Yeah, that's a good question, because in the beginning, it's also something we have to develop. So we have different projects where we focus on human research. So the aim is really to improve quality of life of our patients, to relieve them from their pain or their health, any health conditions. We want to help them. We want to make the treatment and better. And so the projects at the moment are funded from the university side, but in terms of indirect funding, because we work together with TCM practices. And if we can implement the projects, we do reduce the costs to a minimal level. Because they have the patients, they see the patients with certain health conditions, so we don't have to recruit them, we don't have to employ a lot of researchers, so it's implemented into the TCM daily routine work. But on the other side, for example, we launched a scientific TCM conference, an annual conference. It's this
in
year.
August, this one.
Yes, exactly. This year, the second time in August, and last year and this year it's funded by the Swiss National Foundation. And we get funding to invite, for example, the speakers to cover their accommodation expenses. And so it's really project-based funding, but it's something we have to develop, because the foundations, they are not very much used to TCM projects.
Yeah. So, okay, so you get input and data from the TCM clinics you're cooperating with. And what about, I imagine this applies more for the bachelor and then the master's and the PhD, but is there any cooperation also with hospitals, like regular hospitals in Zurich?
Yes, we are creating, or we connect to the other hospitals. For example, the ETH Zurich is a very good technical higher education, and they have students in human or in medicine. They have bachelor students in medicine, and they have to do at the end of their bachelor diploma a 6-week research internship. And last year and this year, they were allowed also to join our research department to do some research. So there is, like, on the educational level, there is a connection. And that only works because we are an accredited university. Otherwise it would not work. And
no, of course. But I like the way it integrates.
Yes, yes, and also that's something which is very important to connect also with the young students, with the fellows, with the future, actually, when they go into medicine, that they understand or have an awareness for TCM and research. And in other projects, we connect, for example, for a project in children with a specific disease, with a pediatric hospital in Basel. So we are connecting with the hospitals, but also with the practices, TCM practices, because that's also important. From the TCM side, we don't want to focus only on the Western medicine collaborations. We need both. We need both sides.
Of course. Yeah. It sounds really wonderful because, like I said, it's a big step for TCM. But now I'm hearing this also, due to being an official accredited program, you can also integrate medical students from other.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important step. But we are also extending the network outside of Switzerland. So really to connect to other institutions, also for us, knowledge transfer, knowledge exchange, stuff. So for example, also with China, we have, for example, one or two postdocs, researchers are coming to Switzerland. They will support us with research activities in TCM, but also we are in discussion for a memorandum of understanding with a university in the USA. So it's expanding. We are still small. That's it's just 2 years, but the motivation is high.
Yeah. But also, the level is also high. It's really the structure and how it's organized. So thanks for your time. Thanks for explaining, making things a little bit more clear about the Swiss TCM University. Hopefully next time in the future, I'll see you at some Congress somewhere, maybe at your Congress, who knows?
Yes. Thank you very much also for having me here, and maybe we meet in Rotterdam this year. I think I will join you in Rotterdam at the TCM conference there.
At our Congress? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, great. No, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks again. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay.